Hi amigos, how are you? I hope you're doing fine. I'm really thankful for all your patronage. Thank you so much. And today, you remember what I told you in the last video? That we will have a discussion about attitude. First and foremost, we have realized now that our life is in our hands. So that's the first thing that we have to realize and accept. Second thing is attitude towards life makes a lot of difference in how much we are able to achieve the best version of ourselves. So today's story, there is a lady and she is neither too old nor too young. She is neither too fat nor too thin. Neither is she tall, neither is she short. So she's that average kind of person. We always do not like to be called average because we do not fall into either of the extremes. We would, of course, definitely prefer to be called as beautiful. But it is better to be ugly even rather than being average because at least we are somewhere in some extreme. But this lady was an average lady. And what she used to do on everyday basis was an average thing. She used to get up in the morning, she used to get ready with a breakfast, get her house ready, and then she would walk to work, which is quite far off. But if she wanted to hail a taxi, she felt that she will not be able to do it because she's an average looking lady for whom the cab driver might not stop. So she used to always walk to her workplace, and when she went into the workplace, nobody ever acknowledged her with even a good morning. She just walked into her workplace unnoticed, and she went to her workplace and she sat down and she completed her work without anyone ever coming to her, talking to her, expressing their joy or sorrow or just gossiping with her even. So she used to continue with this routine on a daily basis. And in the evening, when it is time to leave, after her average day at work, she used to get ready. She used to again take her things and she used to walk down onto the street. And again, she was very upset because nobody has ever spoken to her, but still that was nothing too much of a burden for her because she was an average lady who has got used to this being average. So she wouldn't be able to hire a cab. According to her, she felt that she was not good enough to even hire a cab, so she used to walk back to her house. So on this particular day, as she was walking back to her house, she looked into a shop which was there on her route every day, and this particular day a particular hat that was there which looked so beautiful and enduring kind of caught her eyes, and she decided that she will move away from her daily routine, and she stepped into this particular shop. So she went and asked the person at the counter whether this particular hat could be taken, and she wanted to check it out on herself. So definitely they were more than obliging. They took the hat and gave it to her. And she put it on her head and she looked at herself in the mirror and she started preening. She looked like a peacock. She looked sideways. She looked this side and that side, and she was so happy. She had a beautiful smile on her face. And seeing all this, a gentleman who was standing close to her, who had come to get something else, looked at her and said, "Wow, that hat is so awesome on you. You look so beautiful today." And she started beaming even further. And then another lady who had come with her child to get something in the shop, she looked at her and said, "Awesome, you look very beautiful today." And then this lady couldn't contain herself. She decided that this magic hat was going to make a difference in her life. So she walked with pride to the counter and she told the clerk at the counter that, "I want to buy this hat. Can you tell me what's the price of this hat?" So the clerk took the hat and was looking at it, and then this lady said, "I do not want you to pack the hat because I'll be wearing it home now." So that lady took out the hat and the slip which tells the amount of the hat. And meanwhile, this lady was digging into her purse in order to get the amount. And after paying for the bill, she walked out with pride. And she walked out, and as she walked out, the doorman, who did not notice her entering, now looked at her and gave a bow to her and said, "Good evening, ma'am." And then she walked onto the street and she looked right and left. And then she saw a cab coming and stopping in front of her, and the cab driver asked, "Ma'am, are you interested in hiring this cab now?" Immediately she nodded her head happily and she said yes. And then she got in and she gave the address where she wanted to go. And the cab driver dropped her off and she paid him off. And he said, "Have a great day, ma'am." And she was stunned. She said, "Wow, what a difference this hat is making in my life. Now everybody is noticing me and they're appreciating me." So she walked with that attitude in her and she climbed into her building. And the watchman in the building that she stayed for nearly 15 years, and the watchman who had till then never ever looked at her even, looked at her and smiled and said, "Good evening, ma'am, how are you?" And she smiled pleasantly and said, "Thank you, I'm fine." And she walked to the lift, and the lift operator, he immediately stopped the lift for her and allowed her to get in and asked, "Yes, ma'am, shall I press 7th floor for you?" And she smiled at him and nodded and said, "Yes, please." And then she went back into her house. And as she entered the house, she felt so much happiness in her. She was just floating into her house. And in her house, there was her old mother. And she looked at her and said, "Dear, you look different today." And she smiled and said, "Yes, Mom, the cap is really beautiful, don't you think?" And the mother looked at her with question marks in her eyes. And this lady did not understand the question mark, but she said, "Okay, Mom, don't disturb me. Give me a few minutes. Let me go and look at myself in the mirror because I'm a new you today with this hat." And she rushed to the dressing table and she looked at herself aghast because there was no cap on her head. And then she had to search. She searched around the house. "Mom, did I drop the hat somewhere? Did you see that?" And then she wondered, "Did I drop it in the lift? When I was walking out of the lift, did it drop away from my head? Or, no, I did not have it in the lift even. Did I drop it in the taxi?" So she started wondering like this. And suddenly she realized that when she wanted to pay for the hat, she had taken that and placed it on the counter. And the clerk had scanned her tag and told her what the price is, and she just paid it, but she had forgotten to take that hat and put it on her head. Now, this was a beautiful moment of enlightenment for her. She realized that it is not the cap which made the difference, it was her attitude which had made the difference. So, dear amigos, if you want to achieve something in life, you should have the right attitude. Please do not think about anything. Just have the right dedicated attitude and things will automatically happen for you. Do not worry ever, because the right attitude will show the right way for you to succeed in life. I wish all of you grand success in whatever it is that you want to do. Dear amigos, if in case you missed out on any of my previous stories or episodes, please, I have put the links below and do watch them and tell me how you felt about that. In addition to that, I have given my mail address also, especially for the dear friends who are contacting me after so many years telling, "Hi, how are you, ma'am?" Okay, I really want to talk to you. So do give me your contact details in my mail so that I will be able to get in touch with you. And definitely, please help me in reaching that century. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful attitude to success.